Hey everyone, in this video, I want to show you everything that you can do in a Cortex trial. Um, yeah, this is going to be a pretty busy video, lots of things to see. Even my cat wants to see everything that you can do in Cortex. But before we get into it, I want to remind you all that you can join the Cortex users group. We host that every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. You don't have to come every week. You can come when you have time or come when you have questions. You can share your experiences with Cortex with other people, learn from their experiences, ask us questions, ask them questions. It's an hour that we set aside for anyone who's interested in Cortex to talk about anything Cortex related. We also have a Discord server that you're welcome to join as well, either in addition to or instead of joining the Cortex users group. Um, in either place, we hope to see you there. Hope to hear all of your questions. Now, let's get into the demo. Now, again, Cortex is it's got a lot going on. It started as an archive tool specifically for Cherwell data, and we have expanded that into um, support for ServiceNow as well. Uh, in addition to that, it provides email monitoring capabilities, and we're starting to add even more integration type capabilities. So you'll see some new things on the screen that you may not have seen even in Cortex 2.0. So this is actually a very early version of Cortex 2.1 that I'm running on my development machine. And I'm specifically running it in unlicensed mode. I don't have a license applied to this installation. You can see this yellow banner across the top here, indicating that it is it is unlicensed. Let's see if I can get rid of this little OBS banner up here at the top. Doesn't look like I'm going to be able to, so oh, it went away on its own. So here we have an unlicensed version of Cortex. And you can see, even with it being unlicensed, there are lots of options on the left side here. And that's because we want to make all of the features available to you to try out. We don't want to prevent you from being able to see, the feature that is going to make it the perfect solution for you. Yes, there are lots of features. Yes, you're probably not going to use all of them, certainly not all of them all at once, um, or right out of the box, right out of the gate. But we don't want to, gate off any of those features in any way that to prevent you from being able to test out the software to the extent that you need to. So because of that, we also are opening up probably more than you're going to need. If you're just looking at Cortex for a Cherwell archive tool, yeah, there's tons of stuff here that you're never going to look at. If you're looking at this from the perspective of needing some sort of email automation solution, um, yeah, you don't need to look at the ServiceNow or the Cherwell stuff. And there are definitely going to be parts of the software that you'll just either gloss over, or in some cases they won't even show up. So for instance, the Cherwell and ServiceNow parts, if you don't have a Cherwell database or a ServiceNow database connected to Cortex, you won't even see any of these top three items here. You'll just see kind of the remaining items. Actually, utilities is Cherwell specific as well. Sorry, Tux, he wants to be involved, but he's getting in the way right now. So if you see me setting him on the floor, that's why. I know he wants to be on video, and I know you all love seeing him on video, um, but he's getting in the way right now. So anyway, let's look at some Cherwell stuff. So again, Cortex started as an archive tool for Cherwell databases. So of course you have searches, you have saved searches in Cortex, and you can also browse. I think he turned off my mouse. There we go. Uh, he uh, you can browse, say, incidents, and of course there are some limitations, but not feature restrictions. You can see all of the features in Cortex, but for the most part, you just have limited. Um, a limited number of things you can do. So all the features are there, but in this case, you can only see 10 records. The same is true for most of the data access functionality, ServiceNow archives, some of the other data sources, that sort of thing. Um, but it kind of is the same sort of thing when it comes to like creating new items. You might be limited to, two or three or one or something like that. So for instance, on the search screen, you can add a filter, and that's all you can do. You can only add one filter. But once you're licensed, you can add as many as you want. Now, if we go over to ServiceNow, we can see I have ServiceNow data here as well. And let's go look at incident. And we can see I have some incidents wired up here. Um, and I can drill into them as well. So we've got ServiceNow data showing up, right? And then we can get into things like email monitoring. So these are additional features that maybe you just want Cortex for Cherwell data, maybe you just want it for ServiceNow data. In those cases, you wouldn't necessarily look at the email monitoring, but from a trial perspective, we want to make this available to you so that you don't have to answer too many questions when you first install the software. You don't have to pick, oh, do I want Cortex for ServiceNow? Do I want Cortex for Cherwell? If I am interested in looking at Cortex for email monitoring, do I have to go download another piece of software? No. There is one Cortex. It does all of these things. And you can actually purchase licenses for any or all of these features. We don't necessarily recommend that you run email monitoring on an archive system just for archival reasons. You might want to license two separate systems, but we can certainly package those licenses appropriately for your use case. So email monitoring, you get all your email monitoring functionality here. Data sources is something that's split out into its own section um, because it's actually used for several different pieces. So it's used obviously for email monitoring. When an email comes in, we want to create a record in one of these data sources. But it's also useful for some of the archival solutions. So we're adding some features to both the Cherwell and ServiceNow archival setups so that you can export or migrate data into other systems. That's kind of its own add-on functionality. If that's something you're interested in, again, we can bundle that. We can package that with the archive setup, and there's additional pricing that goes along with that. Um, in addition, we have something called Actions, which is kind of behind the scenes how we handle this migration scenario, though it's packaged a little bit cleaner in some of the other places. But that actually leads us into some of the other aspects that we're building coming soon in Cortex 2.1, 2.2, and so on into the future, where Cortex becomes more of an integration platform. Um, so actions are obviously the things you do with the data in your system. And then we have things like objects. I don't think I have any in this system. Yeah, no objects in this system. But under objects is where you would see the data that you might want to store within Cortex. And that again, that starts to get into Cortex as a bigger world, much bigger capabilities. There's some different licensing that comes with that because that's Cortex as an integration platform, and not Cortex as an archival platform. Um, there are some utilities that we've added. So this is one that's specific to Cherwell. If you want to export all the attachments from Cherwell, that's pretty cool. That was one of those, hey, I wonder if we can do this sorts of projects. And 20 minutes later, we had a new utility in here. And then obviously administration. And there's a lot of different stuff. Honestly, this probably needs um, to get reorganized because there's some stuff in here that's relevant to Cherwell. There's some stuff in here that's related to email monitor, some stuff in here that's related to um, more of the platform direction that we're going with this. Um, and one thing that I specifically want to call out is this blueprints functionality, which we'll see more of in future videos. This is getting um, significantly more sophisticated as we go. Um, but I specifically want to call out that this is an inflection point. This concept of blueprints is an inflection point for Cortex. It really moves it from just being an archival tool, read only, or process email and send it off to another system. And it's kind of this very passive, I mean, it's active, but it feels kind of passive. It's like letting the world happen around it. Whereas Blueprints is basically giving you the power to define your own world within Cortex. You can still interact with the world around Cortex, but you can start to build out your world within Cortex as well. And that's something that you can do as part of the trial. There are no restrictions on blueprints. You can create as many of them as you want. There may be, as this gets built out a little bit more, we may add some restrictions on um, how much you can do with the blueprints. Um, but for now, the sky's the limit. You can play around with blueprints to your heart's content. Again, create as many as you want. Um, but again, when we get to that point where we're starting to limit things, the limitations will probably be around you can only create so many business objects or something like that. But we haven't gotten there yet. It's still in the very early stages. I'd say even in 2.1, um, this probably isn't going to be like fully built out. Maybe 2.0, maybe 2.3. We're continuing to evolve that as we go. Um, and it's driven by the email monitoring and the integration perspective as much as anything. So if you have a thought on this, definitely go ahead and check out the email monitoring piece, the integration platform capabilities. We would love to have your feedback, either down in the comments or there's a link down there for our ideas site. You can submit ideas if you want to see new features come to Cortex. You can also, again, find us on Discord or come to the Cortex users group. Links down in the video description to get invites to uh, either or both of those. And you can also book some time with me and just tell me about what you're looking to do with Cortex, or even with your IT department and wondering if Cortex can help you out in one form or another. So that's the short version, and that's certainly going to do it for this video. The really short version is you can do a lot with the Cortex trial. Obviously, it's limited. It's intended as a trial, and if you use it long term, definitely pay for it. Contact us, and we have we'll get you the whatever the current pricing is for the tiers that you're looking at. Um, but you can definitely try out whatever you want in the trial. It's all there. It's all available. It's not limited from the feature perspective, only limited on the quantity perspective. Um, it's kind of like SQL Express, right? The whole SQL Server database functionality is there. It's just limited to basically small databases, right? 10 gigabyte databases. Um, but in our case, we want you to be able to see everything that you can do with the platform. And the only limitation is basically intended to prevent you from using the trial in a production capacity. But other than that, we want you to be able to do everything you need to do in order to um, properly evaluate the software. And if that's an issue, if you need something more that you can't do with the trial, just let us know. We'll have a conversation and we'll find some way to make sure that you can test it out in the way that you need to. Um, yeah, any questions, drop them down in the comments below or schedule some time with me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.